All right.
What did you think of the property?
Well, your property is very good. It's in great maintenance. The appliances are very modern, which is quite rare in these older properties, since some people still have appliances from when the home was first built or a few decades ago. The four-bedroom, two-bathroom property is in very high demand right now, especially for families and young professionals looking to start their own business in their home.
Okay.
Okay. Is there a time frame for selling the property at all?
Yes, so we've just signed a contract on a unit. So we'd very much like to have the sale of the property, a contract and the settlement of the property within 3 months.
3 months, okay. Do you have any target buyers at all for your property?
No, not really. It's a large property and it's got a lot of bedrooms. So usually we would think that families might be interested in buying the property, and we would love to have a family move in, but we're very open to any buyers in the market.
Yes, families are gonna probably be the most common sort of buyers we'll see for this property.
hmm
And what is your reason for selling?
So we're selling to downsize to a unit. We have a unit by the beach, so we're really just downsizing to that. As you can see, the property is very large, and we no longer have family at home.
All right, yes, that's a very common reason to downsize with a property of this size. Okay, and what is your price range for this?
So we're really hoping of a price range between 600,000 and 700,000.
Yes,
Do
I
you
think,
think that's doable?
yes, very durable with a property of this size and features. And what are your expectations for selling with our agency?
So we would expect any prospective buyers that are coming through the property to be bought through by somebody in the agency.
Yes.
That the keys would not be, or they would not be allowed to come through on their own. We would also like them to be pre-approved for finance, so that we're not just having people coming through just to have a look who aren't interested in buying and are not serious buyers.
Yes.
We also don't like the idea of open houses.
Mm-hmm.
We would really prefer buyers to be brought through individually.
Yep, all right. Mm-hmm. And what are the material facts about your property? Have there been any past renovations at all?
No, so we built the property quite a few years ago. We haven't done any further renovations to the property. All of the sheds and the garages and everything are all council approved. And we've kept up the maintenance on the property for all of the air conditioning systems and the other items.
Yep, all right. And do you have any upcoming maintenance at all? Like, I understand you maintain the property well, but do you have any others that are going to be 3 months from now that you plan to do?
No.
All right, so yep, the property is all good to go.
Yes.
Okay.
So what marketing influences do you think are likely to affect the listing of our property?
There can be quite a few that can affect a property listing, but currently there's only two affecting it, and they're both positives. One, the interest rates are quite low for the area, so a lot of people will be buying, and as a result, we have a lot more buyers in the market, especially for a four-bedroom home.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So how can the property be improved? Should we be making any improvements? And if we do make those improvements, will that get us more money in our sale?
Yes, improvements will definitely give you a little bit more money. The biggest one is maintenance, but as you said, you will maintain the property, so no worries there. Basic cleaning is probably the most common one besides maintenance, so from what I'm seeing of your property, I guess maybe just deep cleaning the carpets and maybe steaming the floors. So just basic tidiness to keep the house looking as best as it could. The only other one would be minor renovations, most commonly painting the walls fresh coats, or maybe if the some smaller details like door handles are a little bit more outdated, to buy new ones and install them. And essentially just anything you do by yourself with just a toolbox would be quite good to getting the price up there a little bit.
Okay.
Mhm.
So what do you think the listing price should be for our property?
Based upon the number of bedrooms and bathrooms of this property, as well as others in the area, I am confident saying it will sell between $700,000 and $750,000.
Oh, okay, that's very good. We're happy with that.
Mhm.
And you do think that that could happen within a 3-month period?
Very much so, especially with how the market is right now.
Okay, so has your agency sold some other houses in this area in that price range recently?
Yes, we sold one 4 weeks ago, except that was a 5 bedroom as opposed to a 4 bedroom. We sold that in about 6 weeks to a young family.
Okay. So should we put the property on the market for 200,000 more than the top of the selling price range, and then lower the price if we need to down the track?
I'd say no and recommend against that. If the price is too high and there are other properties in the area that are similar, buyers going to flock to those ones instead. And that will result in your property being on the market for far longer, and then new buyers coming in will see how long it's been on for and think there could be something wrong with the property, such as structural or history, and that could make it even harder to sell. The only way we could get it up 200,000 more than it's already worth is to do major renovations, such as a new garage, a pool, maybe a third story, more rooms, etc. Something that's going to take a whole team of tradies to accomplish, and that's going to take at least 6 months.
Okay. So what method of selling does your agency use?
Our two most common methods are auction and private treaty. However, you have stated that you do not want an auction, so we will be moving ahead with private treaty, which is quite common for this area as opposed to auction. So that is a very good choice on your part.
Okay, great. So what sort of marketing activities are undertaken by the agency, and what sort of costs are involved?
Total cost of all our marketing activities is $6,705. I'll walk you through. So professional photos are one that is relatively new, but has shown to be very lucrative. We have a trained photographer from the local team come through and take photographs of your property, both inside and out, with a high definition camera. That can then be uploaded to the websites, both our website as well as other real estate websites, to give a full view of your property.
Mm-hmm.
And floor plan is another very common one, which can be usually put in a PDF format for easy download, and it will show the exact specifics of all floors of your property.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on how large the entire property is, it may also include the backyard as well.
Mm-hmm.
Our most common one currently is online, and this is mostly with the websites realestate.com.au and domain.com.au. Realestate.com.au is most popular in Australia, so that's our main one. And we have an agreement with them that when we list certain properties, we can choose which one we'll have up on the front page for a certain amount of time. And with a 4 bedroom home in this area, we can pretty much guarantee that that's one we're going to choose since it's very in demand at the moment. We also use Domain as well, since that's also a very big player on the online real estate market, but we do not have the same contract with real estate that.com that we do. So we cannot guarantee that the property will appear on the front page. That's completely up to them.
Mm-hmm.
Signage boards is of course the classics. That's what we put out the front of your property to entice anybody walking or driving by. And if you choose professional photos, that will also be used in the signage as well. But if you don't, then we'll have our own agents do it ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
The brochure pack is a cheaper one, but can pay off quite a bit. Essentially, we make a brochure of just your property. We can hand that out both at the agency, to prospective buyers, and outside our agency that's in the local shopping center, we can also hand those out to people passing by, have like one of the administration assistants do that for you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Property video is kind of a rarity. Some people do it, some people don't. It's more personal preference, but that's where we have a local cameraman walk through the property to film entire inside and possibly the outside, depending on how large it is, since we obviously don't do that with apartments.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll essentially do a full walkthrough, which you can decide on how it goes. Like they can do the main rooms first and then the bedrooms, or they can just do the rooms in order that the camera goes past them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and although domain.com doesn't exactly support that, so if we do go that route, it will only be on our website and realestate.com.
Okay.
Title search is the cheapest one and is the most common. That is basically where the history of the property is very readily accessible to the buyer, so they know exactly when the property was made, how many times it's been sold, so they have full disclosure on what the property has been through over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Auctioneer isn't really gonna be used for private treaty, obviously only for auctions, but we do get them from like the local auctioneer's house, which has been operating in Brisbane for 170 years. So they have a lot of history of experience in this area, as well as residential buildings. Yes.
Okay.
The other two are just in your standard mails. So the most notable is courier mails. So we have your property in there 5 days a week, from full page down to only an eighth of a page,
Okay.
as well as the Quest newspaper, which is aimed at a more older audience, so more retirees
Mm-hmm.
who aren't really that big into online searches at all. So that really covers that base with people who don't really use online at all. If you
Okay.
want all these marketing activities, that'll be $6,705.
Right, okay. So we can pick and choose what marketing we want. So if we decide not to go with the papers, the newspapers, we can just go with online marketing and just pay for that.
Yes, that is quite common for people to just ignore the papers and go for online, but we wouldn't recommend doing exclusively online. We still recommend at least a signboard and maybe advertising with our own agencies just to get the attention of people walking or driving past.
Okay, that's great. All right. And is this payable up front or is it part of the contract and included in the sale price, taken off at the end at the settlement?
It depends on how much of the advertising you want. If it's only a little bit, then we would like it up front. But if it's a lot more expensive, then we are willing to just take that out of the final selling price along with our commission.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what are your agency fees?
So the main agency fee is the commission rate, which is 5%. I know that sounds a little bit high, but that has been thought about by our corporate office and financial planners, and we think that is a very fair price. The other one is just the marketing budget, which we've just discussed, is $6,705.
So what's included in the agency fees?
The agency fees mainly includes the marketing budget and the commission rate.
Right, okay. So can I get a reduction in the commission rate?
I'd mainly say no, since we have a lot of experience in the area. We know the properties, we know the history, we know the markets. That 5% is to cover all our local knowledge as well as our history in the area, since we are very much a trusted name as opposed to other larger real estate agencies. But if you really want to a cut on the commission, I can take that to my agency principal, but you'd have to negotiate with them more than me.
Okay. When will the inspection be held? It is difficult for us to be ready to leave the house before mid-morning. So is it possible to have inspections from lunchtime between, say, midday and 6 p.m?
Yes, we'll work around your schedule and figure out when you would like to do the inspections. That is completely up to you. We'll work with your schedule.
Okay, great. So how will you let us know what has happened at the inspections? We do have dinner every night at 6 p.m. and we don't like to be disturbed during dinner or during the rest of the evening.
Well, we will respect your privacy, so if you're fine with so before that, we will email and text you or maybe call you to keep you up to date on sales and interest in the property.
Mm-hmm.
However, after that, we can just limit it to emails if you wish and not even do texts. Mm-hmm. And you can just respond to us tomorrow morning if you wish.
Okay, sounds good. So For the information you tell us verbally, my husband and I have some issues with our memory, and sometimes we don't hear things correctly. Can you also email our daughter with all of the information that you're giving us today?
Yes, of course. If you supply us with her contact info, we will send her the emails, texts, and possibly calls as well to make sure that everybody who you trust is kept up to date on the sales process and any offers we have from potential buyers.
Okay, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
So as I've said before, we'd like the private inspections to take place around lunchtime, so that we can be out of the house. Can you guarantee that that you'll be able to bring people through at lunchtime?
Yes, we will work around your schedule. However, that is quite the busy times for me personally, so I may not always signature, but we will have somebody from the agency, either my junior real estate assistant or just one of the general assistants to take them through the house. There will always be somebody from the agency showing people through the property.
Okay, good. Can you explain to me the Form 6?
Yes, I can. So here in part one, we just have the basic information of you, the client. So your name, your address and so forth, basic contact info. Part two is our real estate agency with our name, our address, our contact info, as well as the licensee name.
Okay.
In part three, we have the basic details of the property itself, number of bedrooms, bathrooms, and square block, the address and the title reference number, as well as the plan number.
Okay.
Okay. Part four, section one, that includes the types of sales we have, such as purchase, sale, leasing, and auction. As you can see, we've put sale here. The term of appointments is basically where we decide on when you want people to be looked through the property, exactly when you want to, as well as the start and end date for the window you want the property to be sold in.
Okay.
Price, we have the standard price for what we expect the property to sell. We'll ask you and we'll put like a solid price that you wish. Down here in section 4 of part 4, we have instructions and conditions, such as we will only take offers that are in writing for you, as well as times when inspections want to happen, as well as you leaning away from open houses.
Okay, good.
Okay, so part 5, we have termination of appointments. So that's basically your rights to terminate the contract with us if you're unhappy with how we conduct the sale at all. Okay, property for sales, we have the different listings. Open listing is, of course, when you have multiple agencies vying to sell the property. Sole listing is when you have a single agent, like an independent agent, selling the property as opposed to a whole agency interfering. An exclusive agency is when you choose just one agency and maybe one or two realtors, since some larger properties take more than one person to do a full estimation and selling process for it.
Okay.
Okay. Part 6, that's just your basic information as well as mine. Part 7 is our 5% commission rates.
Okay.
Part 8 is our online marketing and advertising, as well as repairs and maintenance, which is obviously not needed, as well for other prices or fees that may be incurred with selling or repairing this property for sale.
Okay.
And the final part 9 and part 10. And that's just basic signing of the client and the agent. And finally, part 10 is just reappointment if you want to go over this again before we fully go ahead with selling the property.
Okay, thank you. So what happens now that I've signed the Form 6?
Now that Form 6 has been signed, that's when we get on to selling the property. We'll start by preparing any marketing activities that you wish us to participate in. We'll begin to put the property into the agency window and online. and begin looking through for potential buyers. We'll begin to target people who are looking for a 4-bedroom home, as well as going through a list of buyers that have contacted our agency saying we're looking for buyers, and tell them, well, look, we have this beautiful 6-bedroom, 2-bathroom house going up for sale right now.
Okay, that sounds good. So how long can I expect it to be before I see the photos of my house up on the internet?
48 hours at most, but usually it's within 12. We haven't had that many other property sales today, so I think yours is going to go up by the time you get home tonight.
Oh, okay. So the photographer's coming in today and we'll be able to come today and take photos.
If you wish, yes, he is currently with us and doesn't have anything else on today, and he's very flexible, so he can come in as soon as you give the word.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much, Ryan.
You're welcome.